My name is Simon Warmanfried, and I was born in northwest London in Golders Green. And when I was very young, I remember some of the funniest things as a 3-year-old, where I used to actually go on a little tricycle by myself and go from my house to my aunt's house, which was apparently around 2.5 miles. And my parents could never find me. And I was taken by a police car a number of occasions back home because they had to go looking for me. Where I went to school was Wessex Gardens. I started there. I really enjoyed it. I got a good social life there. I used to enjoy most of the subjects, particularly maths at that point. I don't know why I enjoyed maths, but I did at the time, and also things like history, modern history in particular. And then I went to Hendon County Grammar School. And when I went to Hendon County Grammar School, I got very much into sports. And actually, because it was a grammar school, and because they usually expected you to be very studious, I got told by the headmaster after the 2nd or 3rd year that they're not quite sure why they took me into Hendon County, because I spent more time doing sports than actually doing any work. By the time I got to O-levels, my father had a little sit down with me and said, "Well, what do you want to do in life?" And I said, "Well, I'd like to become a lawyer." And he said, "Well, you do realise you've got to pass exams to do that." And so suddenly I just went into work mode and ended up getting some very good grades for my O-levels, and then going on to A-levels and ultimately university to read law. During my childhood, I was a massive Chelsea fan. I got introduced to it really through a very good friend of mine whose father used to take him to Chelsea every week with the season ticket, and then bought me one, or basically I got one. And we used to go every week, home and away, and watch some of the old Chelsea games, which were, in those days, don't forget, probably we were pretty poor in the sense that we were often in the 2nd division, or the old 2nd division as you call it now, and sometimes doing reasonably well in the 1st division. But of course times have changed now, and we're a reasonably successful team, and I'm enjoying life as a Chelsea fan. In terms of sports, I always enjoyed playing football. I was an opening bat at cricket and played a bit of rugby, and in my later life played a lot of tennis as well, before doing a little bit of work in the gym, which for some reason, due to business, I've managed not to be able to do very successfully over the past year or two, as you can see. So after I left school, I went to the University of East Anglia, where I read law, and I was there for 3 years and gained an LLB honours degree. During that time, I worked in a solicitor's practice in Fleet Street in London, and the solicitor there was really impressed by what I did, because unlike most of the solicitors in other practices, I was very client-driven and client-focused. So my role was to try and actually chivvy up other solicitors to do work more quickly than they would normally do it, because they were used to working through paper on a pile of paper in their desk, and would get to a client as and when they'd finished the previous paperwork. So it really frustrated me actually, because what I couldn't understand is why solicitors weren't client focused, why they weren't actually being very responsive to the needs of their client. And that's what actually got me away from being a lawyer in the end. Also, to be fair, my personality didn't really suit law either, in the sense that I like to think I've got a little bit of a sense of humour, and when people are talking to you about potential divorce or other situations, having a smiley face doesn't always sit well. So I decided that I would move into the world of business, and I've got involved with telemarketing as a kick-off with an Italian-based company, where I became very successful in not only selling cathode ray tubes over the phone, which are now obviously extinct, but also actually came up with a new product that we launched around the Apricot marketplace, where it was a large monitor which typically they didn't have available, and it took the market by storm. And then through that time, I've got involved in setting up new business ventures for either large companies or for foreign-owned businesses which are small, and turn them into multi-million-pound businesses. It was more by luck than judgment, and I got thrown in at the deep end at every single time, but I did enjoy the experience, and I did actually manage to help companies significantly grow in an accelerated way. And this is what really led me to setting up IBG 4 years ago. So I started Intelligent Business Growth, IBG, 4 years ago. And it's because of the passion of wanting to help businesses accelerate their growth that I decided that companies needed this sort of help in sales and marketing. Many businesses get a lot of advice from a financial perspective, looking at corporate finance, cash management, accounting services. But when it comes to sales and marketing, when it comes to identifying how to be more effective as a business, I felt that there was a gap in the marketplace, not only in terms of helping companies strategize about how they can do it, but also in terms of helping them implement and execute those strategies. So I set up IBG basically to help companies grow in an accelerated way and in a focused way that delivers them the type of levels of revenue and growth that they're looking for. So I worked with an IT services company, around £12 million turnover, had one major client, which was obviously from a business perspective high risk. That was 85% of their business turnover. And they wanted to expand into new business and develop new business opportunities. When I got there, they were struggling to generate new business because they didn't have a focal point of engaging with the end clients. They solved problems from an application development perspective that they couldn't relate back to the client at the time that they were trying to engage with them because they didn't know what problems the client was facing. We then put together a strategy that enabled them to put a focus around e-commerce platforms that gave them the foundation to engage with people, and within 9 to 12 months we helped win over £1.5 million of revenue within a 12-month period, with ongoing revenues of about £1 million a year, together with some other wins that we also applied. And since then, they've been going from strength to strength, both in terms of the e-commerce side of their business, but also in terms of the application side of their business. And they've de-risked their business as well as part of that process. We worked with a marketing services provider who were looking to rapidly expand in the UK and internationally. And we became their outsourced sales partner and also helped them develop and build their strategy. Over the 2-year period that we've been working with them, they've grown by over 200% per annum and have significantly increased their footprint both in the UK market and internationally. We've worked very closely with them and they've been very happy with the results that we've delivered, both in terms of moving their business forward from a sales perspective, but also bringing them fresh ideas, new ideas about how they can continuously grow. So if you're looking to grow your business or grow it in an accelerated way, then I would be delighted to have a call or meet at your offices or have a coffee somewhere and explore how we might be able to add value to you in your business. Please call me on the number below or email us on team@ibg-world.com.